What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another review of Monday Night Raw. Um, not much happened on this show. This was a night of tag team matches, and you're going to see why. Um, they did a recap for what happened last week. You know, when the Usos won and whatnot, and then they allowed the Usos started off the show. They kicked off the show with their promo with Jay kicking off, going off script, and just thanking the fans and stuff because I think yesterday or the day before marked their 12-year anniversary. So he thanked the fans and for being with them, for being there and watching them grow and grow up and grow in front of their eyes. But Jimmy will bring us back into the hero promo by saying, and you know who we needed? We needed absolutely nobody, and then they started taunting the crowd, saying how they need, Jay was picking out Pacific people. They were saying they didn't need nobody, and how they didn't need nobody. They had grown people crying and kids crying, all that type of good junk. And doing their usual because y'all the twos and we the ones. And then I will say this though, it was a lot of support for them because when they said they want you to raise y'all ones in the air, pretty much you saw a lot of people in the crowd raising their hands in the air. So it was a lot of support for them in Arkansas. I think that's what they was at. They was in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas. I think. Yeah, I know it said Little Rock. Um, Shinsuke Nakamura will come out and basically tell them that he want a match with them for the unified WWE Tag Team Championships. Um, and they was taunting him, saying like, who your partner, who's your partner? Is it Pele, Rick Booz, or who would possibly be your partner? And Shinsuke revealed that his partner was none other than Riddle, who he revealed that Riddle wanted, before he revealed was Riddle, he said Riddle wanted to come out there, or the person he was teaming with wanted to come out there and handle them by himself, but he convinced him to let him join, and then that's when it was revealed it was Riddle, and they would charge the ring, and it was no scooter too. Riddle did not come out with a scooter, and even though he had his theme music, his title card read art. He had like the Arcade Bro title card. It showed both his Viper and Randy Orton's Viper. It didn't say Arcade Bro though. I think it just said Riddle, but it had the Arcade Bro like theme vibe to it. And they charged the ring, beat up the Usos, and had them run into the back. And it'll be revealed that they will get that tag team championship match, but it will be on Monday Night Raw. And in a backstage promo, Riddle revealed that he was when they asked him about this formation of Shinsuke and Riddle, like how would Randy feel, and he revealed that Randy was the one who actually came up with the idea. And speaking of Randy, they revealed that I guess he had legit, it's real, like he really do have back injury, some type of back injury, and they said Michael Cole revealed that he's with specialists like spinal. I just say spinal specialist. I forgot the words he exactly used, but it's basically specialist that he was getting his back scanned, and he was dealing with specialists that deal with back and stuff to see what type of treatments he had to go through and get through, and will have to take to rehabilitate and get his back problems corrected, and they wish him a speedy recovery. The first match was Raquel Gonzalez or Rodriguez. I'm so used to saying Gonzalez. Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey. Now, while Raquel made her entrance, Sanshi was in the back trying to get the women's locker room riled up because of the fact that none of them was given the opportunity to go up against Ronda. it was like they were saying Raquel just got the opportunity even though she lost. So they I think she tried to get Aaliyah and Azia Lee, but they both like turned her down. And then she turned to Natalya and Shayna, which was like, wow, that's really the women's division on SmackDown. Aaliyah, Aaliyah, Azia Lee, Sansi, Shayna, Natalya. I'm like, and then of course Bailey and Charlotte whenever they come back, but still, it makes me wonder. It shouldn't have cut people because that's pretty much all you got on SmackDown. You're looking a little thin. Like honestly, I would say this that if it was me, and it's probably like a bad move, but if it was me, I like just to fill out the SmackDown division and the Raw Women's division. I'll have to call up at least a lot of people, a lot of women from NXT, and then replace them with newer people. Like it would just be out of nowhere. It would just be a whole new crew of people on for the women's. It'd be a whole new crew, mostly new crew of women's on NXT, and that it would just they'd just be like, wow, why is there so many? Why is it like this? And then you see that because most of them are now on SmackDown and Raw, but that's just me. The match was okay. I think no, I forgot to say this too. She did get to Shayna and Natalya, and they, was like, yeah, we can't let this happen, and they were charged like they get like you knew they were coming out to the ring, but Sanshi got locked in her in the women's locker room by Aaliyah. I guess was like which was like basically like a what I want to say, a get back. I think they said when Rhonda had that open challenge, Sansi locked Aaliyah in the women's locker room. So this was a get back for Aaliyah. Otherwise, the match was okay. They did interfere, causing Raquel to win via DQ. And then during the commercial break, we came back and found out that the match was restarted, but as a tag team match, which would officially make the match that we actually got a tag team of Raquel and Rhonda versus Natalya and Shayna, which is cool because they gave it in both versions. Raquel got the shine, so she got the shine, and look, they really are pushing her as the next big star on SmackDown for the women's division. The match was good in itself. We did get the fun little spot between Rhonda and Shayna where they looked like they was conflicted about fighting each other, but thanks to Natalya putting Rhonda out the ring and Raquel fighting with Shayna, we never got to see what that would look like, but we did get a funny little tease to it. But in the end, Rhonda and Raquel pulled out the victory. The New Day had cut a promo. It was a funny promo where they just talked about who could be their mystery partner. They named like different Marvel characters, and different people, saying that it could be anybody. And Kofi said it could be you talking to the lady ring announcer, this was the best part of the promo because he said it could even be you. And then he stayed like that throughout, like for the next minute or two as Xavier finished the promo. He basically just stood there and kept pointing with this weird sinister smile he kept trying to do, and it kept like inching closer, but would just inch a little bit back, but then would inch a little bit closer, pointing at her. And it was like, at first it was funny because it seemed like she was trying to ignore it so she could have the mic up to Xavier as he was talking, but then eventually it got to because she kept kind of sort of looking back every time at Kofi, like, what are you doing? Like, why do you keep staring at me like that? And she she's a good one because she didn't break, and it looked like he was trying to break her, and most likely trying to break Xavier because Xavier had to pretend like Kofi and just standing there looking like a doofus, just smiling and pointing at her, and then he stopped when they got to the because New Day Rocks part. He finally broke that and started saying that. But revealing that they're not going to reveal who their mystery partner is to keep the upper hand. The next match was Lost Authorities, another tag team match. As I said, this was a night of tag teams. Again, I think, every match was a tag team match. Every match that they had on the card was a tag team match. It was no solo matches at all on the card, which is weird because I don't know when was the last time I actually seen the whole attack. Cause when they did it on Monday Night Raw, there was at least one. I think the last time, because I remember they did this on Raw like a week or two ago, but there was one singles match. This entire card was a tag team match. There was no singles match. But yeah, this was Lost Authorities versus Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Now, this was like you could say to me it was a bathroom break match already because it really wasn't that good of a match. It was an okay match at best. But I guess they were trying to tell the story that there's still dissension between Jinder Mahal and Shanky when they try to come out when Jinder Mahal music hit. They didn't come out because Jinder was in backstage looking for Shanky, and Shanky was backstage dancing to Mahal's music, and he had to go get him. Then they had to make their entrance. They had an okay match with Lost Authorities, but Angel Garza and Humberto, who right when Jinder Mahal and them was getting ready to make their entrance, finally was out there trying to seduce the ring announcer, and this would be at least for Angel Garza his downfall because during the match when, like I said, they was having an okay match, but he would throw Jinder back into the ring, and then he would get like, I guess Humberto was like the legal man, and Humberto and Jinder would fight, but Angel would get distracted trying to seduce again the ring announcer. And she just watching him like doing this weird dance, like trying to seduce him, like sexy dance, and when he just stood there doing it, and Shanky came up behind him and was like yeah taunting him, not knowing that, and she just stood there with this frightening, like this mixture of want to laugh, but also I felt to be looking frightened like face. And Shanky was like, yeah, do it, man. Do it. Then he said, bow. He hit him right on Angel Garza right on the top of his head. Then he super kicked him. But this was pretty too much of a distraction for Jinder, as he was too distracted by what was going on, and he got hit by some type of kick from Humberto Carrillo, jumping from the ropes, and he would be pinned. They would get into an argument afterwards, which was Shanky would tell him, I ain't trying to hear that, and that would be the end of that. I guess there's supposed to be more dissension between Shanky and Jinder Mahal. I don't know, but like I said, I really didn't care. Then we got the Kevin Owens promo, which was probably by far the best promo of the night, which was just Kevin Owens coming out saying that he had a member of the Bloodline. Turns out it was just Sami Zayn. And basically they fed into each other's delusions with Sami, saying, I know Ezekiel and Alliance are the same person, and Kevin was like, I know you're a real member of the Bloodline. And this was going on very good. They had a good back and forth until Kevin revealed why he asked Sami to come out here, and he wanted Sami to come help him on Raw, to confront the Raw roster about Ezekiel, and he wanted him to drop everything he was doing. And Sami was like, I got your back and everything about this whole Ezekiel thing, but I kind of, the Bloodline needs me. I'm a locker room leader. I can't really drop everything, to come help you on Raw, but, I'm still behind you. and this will upset Kevin Owens, and this will break the whole feed into each other delusional thing. It basically, Kevin like, you're not a real member of the bloodline. Sammy like, well, you're not really, Ezekiel and Elias are really are two different people, and Sammy would get the harsh reality from Kevin Owens saying that that you're not really part of the bloodline. They really don't care about you, because if they did, why would they walk out on you on Raw? And then if they really did care about you, or you really was a part of the bloodline, you would come out. They would come out when I introduced them, and he introduced them twice, and they didn't come out, which would hurt Sammy, and caused Sammy to walk out. Kevin Owens trying to convince him one more time, but Sammy got mad and pushed him and told him to go to Raw and stay on Raw, and that he's the locker room leader, trying to convince himself that he's the locker room leader, and that he's needed here on SmackDown. This would continue when he had a backstage promo with the Usos, basically asking them if they really, if he, everything he's trying to do for the bloodline stuff. He's not, actually blood and stuff, but he wanted to be like he still wanted to be part of the bloodline, like an honorary member of the bloodline. They was like, you know what? Yeah, that's cool. Jimmy was like, yeah, honorary member, honorary Us. And Jay would look at Jimmy like, what? Like, and then they were just like, all right, whatever, and walked into the locker room. This will bring it to, well, I'll tell you this afterwards, but that is the fact that throughout this whole show, it's still so another reason why this whole unification of the titles and all this episode is a bad idea for the show, for both shows. The next match will be Ricochet and Drew Gulak versus Gunther and his partner Ludwig Kaiser. This would be the first time I seen Gunther. I never really watched him in NXT or Ludwig Kaiser in NXT, but I thought this would be the first time I actually seen Ludwig in a match, and it was okay. It was actually a good match. It was okay, and they ended up coming. Him and Gunther came out on top, as I thought it would. It wasn't the best match, but it was okay. I guess this next match, which was the main event, would be the best match. They did reveal that Money in the Bank will be in the MGM, so rumors of that being the venue for Money in the Bank changing was actually true, and that it will be at the MGM. But yeah, the main event will see the New Day and their mystery partner, Drew McIntyre, versus the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch. And this was actually a good match. I ain't gonna say it wasn't. This was like the match-wise, this was probably like the best match you could get. The match you gonna get close to being like the greatest match of the night or whatever. But yeah, this was the closest thing to the best match of the night. And it was okay. The second would be the Raquel and Rhonda tag team match, but this was actually okay. I enjoyed it. They had some great spots. Sheamus and them did their thing to prove why they was brutes. When Drew got involved, he turned the tide, and basically they end up winning the match with a combination of the Claymore kick and then King Woods, as I like to call him. Because it's just like they just quickly dropped that he's the king, with him doing finish it off with an elbow, and he would get the pin on Ridge Holland, and that's how they ended the show. It was an okay show, but the fact that there was no Roman or even Paul Heyman, all we got was the Usos, and there was no Roman or Paul Heyman. There was no Roman on Raw, so it was just like, it's like this is one of those they in the territory where when Brock Lesnar, there was one thing where Brock Lesnar was the WWE champion and held that hostage, where we barely saw the championship on Raw, and that was a problem in itself, because you needed that. We needed the representation of the WWE champion to see how that story progressed every single week. having him not on both. I understand that his new contract, he's doing less shows, whatever, yada yada yada. So in my case, that's why it's better if he's going to have a contract like that. He's going to be on less shows like that. I don't think it's good for him to have both titles. I don't think it's good for any of them to have both titles because I think it made Raw seem Raw was super stupid, and this was even more stupid because this was a night of tag team matches, and yet we had no progression on the main titles or not. We only got a progression for the tag team titles, and that was it. So with that being said, this episode of Friday Night SmackDown get a. I'm gonna be generous and give it a 6 because I did get a little bit of last. So I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Big ups, but yeah, this was horrible by far. Not horrible, but it was horrible in terms of the fact that I did not really enjoy it as much as I wanted to as a fan because I wanted to see what was going on with this, and there's nothing. So it is what it is. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. If you enjoyed this review, you hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my review WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, do all those great things. Hit that thanks button as well, and join. And if you want to see my full episode reaction to your favorite shows, hit that join button and become a super tribe member. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. Yeah, got more videos coming to you, and stay tuned. Got that review for Stranger Things coming up next.